Most people don't lose discipline because life becomes harder. They lose it because their internal strategy collapses. One day they're full of fire, plans, ambition, excitement, and the next day, everything vanishes. They stand face to face with the same old habits that were supposed to be gone by now. If that feels familiar, understand this. You're not failing. You're simply fighting your battles with the wrong weapon. Sun Tzu understood this over 2,000 years ago. He became one of the greatest military strategists not through motivation, but through clarity, preparation, and strategic discipline. Systems that worked even when emotion didn't. And in the modern world, people fall apart for the exact same reasons armies once lost wars. They start strong, hit resistance, lose structure, and retreat into old patterns. Daniel was one of those people, just a normal man trying to get his life together, but unable to stay consistent for more than a few days. He wasn't lazy, he wasn't weak, he was simply relying on motivation, something Sun Tzu would never trust on the battlefield. Everything changed the moment he stopped acting on emotion and started acting on principle. Lesson 1. Ground. Know your position before you advance. Sun Tzu wrote, "Know yourself and you will win all battles." Daniel thought he was doing well. He was always busy. Tasks, notifications, work, errands. He confused chaos with discipline. He believed exhaustion meant progress. But the ground, the first principle, teaches this. Busyness is not discipline. Busyness is distraction wearing armor. When Daniel finally examined his days without excuses, he saw the truth. His phone was stealing hours, his tabs were scattering his mind, his effort was real, but it was misdirected. He wasn't short on time, he was bleeding time. Ground teaches that discipline begins the moment you stop defending the illusion of who you think you are, and confront the reality of who you've actually been. Until you understand your true position, you cannot choose the right strategy. In Lesson 2, Water. Strategy must adapt, not break. Sun Tzu wrote, "Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground." Once Daniel saw the truth, he made the classic mistake. He tried to overhaul everything overnight. The perfect schedule, the perfect morning, the perfect routine. It lasted one day. Water teaches the opposite. Discipline is not built by force, it's built by flow. 5 focused minutes instead of an hour, 10 push-ups instead of a full workout, 1 page instead of a chapter. Water does not fight the rock. It flows around it until the rock is reshaped. In discipline, this means reduce the task until you cannot fail. Repeat it until you cannot avoid it. Expand it until you cannot recognize yourself. This is where Daniel found momentum, the kind motivation always failed to provide. Lesson 3. Fire. Direct your emotion, don't burn yourself with it. As Daniel improved, tiny workouts, focused sessions, fewer distractions, something dangerous appeared: progress. Because once progress appears, comparison appears. Someone richer, someone fitter, someone younger, someone already ahead. Sun Tzu wrote, "If your mind is unsettled, your strategy will crumble." Fire arrives in these emotional moments: frustration, insecurity, envy. But Sun Tzu never taught suppressing emotion. He taught weaponizing it. Fire does not destroy iron, fire refines it. So when Daniel heard that internal voice, "You're behind," he redirected it, not into self-attack, but into self-command. Not, "I'm not enough," but "I refuse to remain here." Fire became fuel. Every frustration became tomorrow's assignment. More reps, deeper focus, better preparation. He stopped reacting emotionally. He started responding strategically. Lesson 4. Wind. Remain a student, not a master. Months passed. Daniel became consistent. Earlier mornings, deeper work, daily exercise, cleaner habits. And then he made the mistake Sun Tzu warned about. He believed the battle was over. The wind teaches humility. Sun Tzu studied every rival kingdom, every tactic, every formation, not to copy, but to keep learning. The greatest threat after victory is arrogance. The moment you stop learning, you stop advancing. So, Daniel returned to the student mindset. Mentors, books, better strategies, people far ahead of him. And every time he learned something new, he discovered how much he still didn't know. Wind keeps you moving. Wind keeps you honest. Wind keeps your discipline alive. Lesson 5, the void. Act without needing emotion. The void is the hardest lesson because it cannot be taught, only lived. There comes a moment when discipline no longer feels like a battle. It becomes identity. Not because life gets easier, it won't, but because you get stronger. Sun Tzu wrote, "Victory belongs to the one who is prepared." When Daniel reached the void, he stopped waiting for easier days. He stopped negotiating with himself. He stopped chasing motivation. He simply acted, quietly, consistently, without drama. This is the void, the calm power of someone who moves without asking their feelings for permission. Lesson 6, the modern warrior's rule, measure reality. Throughout Daniel's entire transformation, one principle held everything together, tracking. Sun Tzu constantly mapped terrain, troop strength, formations, not to obsess, but to stay aligned with reality. What is measured becomes visible. What is visible becomes controllable. Tracking your habits reveals your truth. Your patterns become clear. Your progress becomes undeniable. Discipline thrives in clarity. It collapses in vagueness. This is your modern weapon. Lesson 7, the final seal. Let the practice become the prize. Sun Tzu never fought merely to win battles. He fought because mastery of strategy was the way to peace. Daniel eventually realized the same truth. The workout is the reward. The deep work is the reward. The early morning is the reward. The self-respect that follows, that is the true victory. Discipline becomes unbreakable when the process itself becomes meaningful. Not because it's easy, but because it shapes who you are becoming, the version of you that you haven't met yet. So if you take one thing from Sun Tzu's teachings, let it be this. Discipline is not a feeling, it is a strategy. And strategy outlives emotion every time. When motivation disappears, discipline carries you. When energy fades, preparation carries you. When comfort calls, purpose carries you. Most people never meet their strongest self, not because it's hidden, but because they never stay in the battle long enough to see it. The art of war is not philosophy. It is a path. Ground, understand your truth. Water, adapt with intelligence. Fire, direct your emotion. Wind, remain a student. Void, act without needing motivation. Daniel reached that version of himself. You can too, not eventually, not someday. Today, by stepping onto the path of your own war.